Hey, players. So, since Election Day, what we have been hearing from MAGA Republicans, Frumpy Dump, as well as the media, is that Frumpy Dump won this election by a landslide, that the American people have spoken and they have overwhelmingly chosen the Frumpy Dump world, the MAGA regime. Well, as we all know, the votes were still being counted in many states. And as these tallies begin to come in, what we have learned is that the lie detector has determined that this unprecedented win by Frumpy Dump was a lie. According to this new article by the New York Times, Frumpy Dump's victory was neither unprecedented nor a landslide. In fact, he prevailed with one of the smallest margins of victory in the popular vote since the 19th centuries and generated little of the coattails of a true landslide. Now, again, the votes are still being counted, but this new tally that the New York Times used last night, it shows Frumpy Dump winning the popular vote with 49.988%. And he appears likely to fall below that once the final results are in, meaning he would not capture the majority. Another count used by CNN and other outlets shows him winning 49.9%. By either reckoning, his margin over Madam Vice President Kamala Harris was about 1.6 percentage points, the third smallest since 1888, and could ultimately end up around 1.5 points. Now, listen, I want to make myself abundantly clear when I say this to you. I am not saying that Frumpy Dump did not win this election. But what I am saying to you is that this so-called landslide victory is being used by MAGA Republicans in Congress as well as Frumpy Dump to say, oh, he won by a landslide. The American people have spoken. They want the MAGA regime, when that is not truth. In fact, a University of California professor of political science said, I would not classify this outcome as a landslide that turns into evidence of desire for a huge shift of direction of policy. We have heard this over and over from House Speaker Mike Johnson that the American people want the MAGA regime. They want this because they voted overwhelmingly for Frumpy Dump when the numbers are not numbering. It's not truth in fact, because the numbers are still coming in, and it's showing that Frumpy Dump won this election by the popular vote by a small amount. According to this article by the New York Times, real landslides have been unmistakable, including Lyndon B. Johnson's in 1964 by 22.6 points, Richard Nixon's in 1972 by 23.2 points, and Ronald Reagan's in 1984 by 18.2 points. In the 40 years since the Reagan victory, no president has won the popular vote by double digits. So as MAGA Republicans continue, because we know that they are, to force this so-called landslide down your throat, I want you to think about those real landslides and how they are unmistakable. However, Frumpy Dumps is a small percentage compared to those. Indeed, Frumpy Dump won this election, but at the end of the day, the American people did not speak overwhelmingly for MAGA policies. They didn't do that. In fact, the Googler would say that they didn't even really know what they were voting for. Judging by what they were Googling the day after Frumpy Dump had his victory.